first graders, welcome back to another Reading with Miss Fox. Today we are continuing our Amelia Bedelia story with her friends and the cat who is stuck in the tree. They've just called the fire trucks and they're going to see if the firemen can come and help the cat down from the tree. Amelia Bedelia has been struggling a little bit with the idioms that people keep using about cats, such as cat got your tongue, which doesn't really mean that a cat has your tongue, but it does mean that you are stalled for words and you don't know what to say. So we're going to continue today. Today's chapters, as we read, you're going to hear the dog's name. Amelia Bedelia's dog's name is Finally. So even though it sounds like a kind of funny name, if I say the word finally, I'm not necessarily talking about like, oh, finally it's done. It's also the name of the dog, so try to keep attention of that because it can kind of get confusing. Alright, chapter 6. One fire truck, hold the siren. Amelia Bedelia had seen the town fire truck in a parade before, but she had never seen it at her school. The firefighters did not turn on the siren because it wasn't an emergency, but it's still exciting to see the bright red fire truck pull up to Oak Tree Elementary. While Mrs. Shock and Mr. Jack explained the problem and kids in other classrooms watched out the windows, Amelia Bedelia and her friends raced back across the playground. They waited for the fire truck as it circled around to the street nearest the maple tree. Finally, the truck pulled up beside the fence that separated the playground from the street. One of the firefighters came over to the fence. "Please keep the kids on a safe distance for now," she told Mrs. Shock, "and later on, we'll let them take a look in the truck if they want to." "We want to," yelled Clay. He darted toward the fire truck and began climbing the fence. Mrs. Shock pulled him back. "It's like herding cats," she said. "I can see that," said the other firefighter who was driving the truck. "Maybe Miss Shock needs a lasso," thought Amelia Bedelia. "And a cowboy hat?" She started to giggle. The legendary hawk, herding cats on a prairie. Why do you guys think that Amelia Bedelia thinks that the teacher may need a lasso and a cowboy hat? Because she said it's like herding cats. But really that just means people are going everywhere and it's hard to kind of get everyone together. That's what the term herding cats means. "Thank you, Lieutenant Johnson," said Mrs. Shock. "I'm sure my class would love to see the fire truck if they can listen to directions now." Amelia Bedelia reached over the fence and offered Lieutenant Johnson what was left of her tuna fish sandwich. "No, thank you," said the firefighter. "I already ate lunch." "It's for the cat," said Amelia Bedelia, "to lure her down. She likes tuna fish." "Aha, got it." Lieutenant Johnson grinned and took the sandwich. "Great thinking. You're the cat's Meow." "Oh, I tried that," said Amelia Bedelia. "It didn't work, but I can try again." Amelia Bedelia walked over to the maple tree. "Meow," she called softly, looking up at the cat. "Meow, meow." "Amelia Bedelia," said Penny, "what are you doing?" "Lieutenant Johnson told me to," said Amelia Bedelia. "Really?" said Penny. "But we tried that." Penny shrugged. "Okay, I'll help." Meow, meow, meow. Amelia Bedelia and Penny meowed together. Soon, Joy, Dawn, and Skip joined in. "Hey kids, what are you doing?" asked Mrs. Shock. "We're the cat's Meows," said Amelia Bedelia. "Meow." From high up in the tree, the cat replied, "Meow." "Look, the ladder's going up," yelled Cliff. The big ladder on the back of the truck began to unfold and stretch toward the tree. It inched closer and closer to the branch where the cat was sitting. Once it locked into position, Lieutenant Johnson began to climb. She reached the cat's branch, and Amelia Bedelia held her breath. Lieutenant Johnson pulled Amelia Bedelia's sandwich out of her pocket and offered it to the cat. The cat inched towards her. She put her nose in the air and sniffed. Then she began to nibble the tuna fish. The firefighter let the cat eat for a few seconds. Then she quickly scooped her up, tucked her under one arm, and headed down the ladder. When they reached the ground, the class clapped and cheered. "What an excellent rescue operation," said Mrs. Shock. "Thank you, Lieutenant, very much." "You're welcome," said Lieutenant Johnson. "Now, who wants to see the fire truck?" The cat seemed really happy to be out of the tree, at least as happy as a cat can be. While Amelia Bedelia's friends toured the truck, Amelia Bedelia cuddled the cat and fed her bits of tuna. The cat purred so loudly that her whole body trembled. Amelia Bedelia wondered where the cat lived. Did she belong to a family? Was someone searching for her right now? Everybody got a chance to look in the back of the fire truck, to see the uniforms and hats and hoses and pump controls, and even sit in the driver's seat up front. And they thanked the fire trucks and watched as the truck pulled away. "That was so cool," said Clay. He gave Cliff a high five. I think that's enough problem solving for one day, said Mrs. Shock. It's time to head back. Everyone groaned, even Mr. Jack. But, young lady, said Mrs. Shock to Amelia Bedelia, you can't bring that cat with you. Amelia Bedelia looked down at the purring cat. The eyes were tightly closed. She sounded like a tiny motor. But I can't just let her go, Amelia Bedelia said. Does she have a tag on her collar? Asked Mrs. Shock. She doesn't even have a collar, said Amelia Bedelia. She's probably a stray then, said Mrs. Shock. We'll have to call the animal shelter. Amelia Bedelia did not like that idea one bit. She'd been to the animal shelter once before when she adopted her dog, finally. She knew that people there really cared about animals, but still, it's not like living in a home with a family. The cat really likes you, Amelia Bedelia, Penny said. You should take her home with you. Thanks, Penny, said Amelia Bedelia. That's the perfect solution. Is it the perfect solution? I guess we're going to find out. Chapter 7. After the last bell rang, Amelia Bedelia rushed to get the cat from Mr. Jack, who was cat sitting for her. Then Amelia Bedelia cuddled the cat against her sweatshirt and carried her home. When she opened the front door, her dog, finally, bounded to greet her, just like always. But this time, finally skidded to a stop and stared in astonishment at the cat in Amelia Bedelia's arms. Woof, woof, grrr. Finally, this is our new cat, said Amelia Bedelia. Be nice. She put the cat down on the floor, finally barked again. It was as if she was saying, What is this? What are you doing, bringing it to my house? The cat didn't seem one bit scared. She shook herself a little. Her tail was very high and quivering. She took a few steps forward and sniffed at Finally's nose. Then she started to purr. Finally put her nose down and sniffed the cat's head all along her back. The cat arched her back. She put her head up and rubbed it against Finally's face. Finally's tail started to wag, slow at first, then faster. Purr, wag, wag, wag. Amelia Bedelia smiled. Her two pets were going to be friends. Just then, Amelia Bedelia's mother came into the front hall. Amelia Bedelia, what's that? She asked, pointing to the cat. Then she sneezed so loudly that Amelia Bedelia, Finally, and the cat all jumped. Kids do not always know everything about their parents. Amelia Bedelia did not know that her mother had been the school spelling bee champion when she was in 3rd grade, or that her mother had once dyed her hair bright blue in college. And she did not know that her mother was allergic to cats. Amelia Bedelia apologized for bringing home a cat without asking. Her father drove to the drugstore to get some allergy medicine, and her mother said that Amelia Bedelia could keep the cat for 5 days. But no longer than 5 days, said her mother. Achoo! 5 days was not very long time to find a perfect home for the cat. Amelia Bedelia knew that she was going to need some help. The next morning, Amelia Bedelia hurried to Mrs. Shock's classroom as soon as the bell rang. They always began their class with announcements and sharing, and Amelia Bedelia's hand shot right up. She squirmed in her seat and wiggled her fingers, hoping to catch the hawk's eyes. Amelia Bedelia, you're acting like a cat on a hot tin roof, said Mrs. Shock. Do you have something to share with the class? Amelia Bedelia nodded. She told everyone about her mother. I need to find a home for the cat, she explained. Who else can take her? I will, said Penny. Yes, said Angel. Sure thing, said Skip. Amelia Bedelia beamed. Her friends were the best. She hadn't thought that finding a solution to her problem would be this easy. Very well, class, said Mrs. Shock. If you're interested in taking the cat, have your parents contact Amelia Bedelia's parents. And now, it's time for your vocabulary quiz. All that evening, Amelia Bedelia waited for Angel or Penny or Skip to call. The phone didn't ring once. Not once. That night, Amelia Bedelia slept with Finally at the foot of her bed and the cat curled up beside her, purring loudly in her ear. At school the next morning, no one looked very cheerful. Amelia Bedelia and her friends met outside at the student lounge, which was really just a stump of a very special tree, at recess. My mom said our building has a rule that only allows pets in cages, said Angel. She shrugged sadly. My python is okay, but we can't have a cat. Sorry, Amelia Bedelia, said Skip. My dad said our dog doesn't get along with cats. My parents said that we already have 2 cats, plus 3 gerbils and an aquarium full of fish, said Penny. They said no more pets until I graduate from college and have my own apartment. We can't wait that long, said Amelia Bedelia. It turned out that none of the kids in Miss Shock's class were able to give the cat a home. Either someone was allergic to cats, or they already had cats or dogs or guinea pigs or rabbits. Some lived in places that didn't even allow pets. No one could take the cat, and now they only had 4 days to find the perfect home. "There's got to be someone who wants such a sweet cat," said Penny. "We just have to find the right person." "We can advertise," said Amelia Bedelia. "That's what my dad always says to do." "But we're just kids," said Joy. "How are we going to advertise? It's not like we can make a commercial and get on TV." "We can make posters," said Amelia Bedelia. "We can put them up all over town." Mr. Forrest, the art teacher, was happy for Amelia Bedelia and her friends to make posters during their art period. They drew pictures of the cat and brainstormed slogans that would catch people's eyes, making them want to give the cat a home. Amelia Bedelia drew a picture of a calico cat curled up in a ball with her paw over her nose. "Perfect pet," she wrote above her curled up cat. "Hey," said Cliff, "you're a copycat, Amelia Bedelia." Amelia Bedelia had not even looked at Cliff's poster. Now when she did, she saw that she had drawn a cat curled up in a ball, just like hers. But that didn't mean that she'd copied him. If he'd drawn a poodle and she'd drawn a Great Dane, he'd probably call her a copy dog. "I didn't copy you," she said. "I just drew the cat." "That can happen," said Mr. Forrest, smiling. "Sometimes artists have similar ideas, but their art will look different when they're done. See, Cliff, your cat has its eyes open, and Amelia Bedelia drew hers with its eyes shut. Not two artists will ever draw the same thing in exactly the same way. Every work of art is unique. Nobody can be a copycat, Cliff, even if they try to be." After school, Amelia Bedelia got permission from her mother to go out with Joy and Penny to put the posters up around the neighborhood. "Don't stay out too long," her mother told them with a squeeze. "It's getting very cloudy. It looks like rain." The girls were rushing to put up the posters as soon as possible. They went to Pete's Diner first, and after checking with Pete to make sure it was okay, they got to work taping a poster to the front door. Amelia Bedelia was sticking the last piece of tape to the glass when a woman hurrying into the diner nearly bumped into her. "Oops, excuse me," said the woman. "No problem," said Amelia Bedelia. The woman looked familiar, but Amelia Bedelia wasn't sure where she might have seen her before. The woman looked at the poster and smiled. "That's the cat that was in the tree near the elementary school, isn't it?" she asked. "It is," said Amelia Bedelia. "How could this woman know that?" Looking at her more closely, it dawned on Amelia Bedelia. Do you guys know who the lady is? "Hi, Lieutenant Johnson," she said. "Wow," said Joy, "we didn't recognize you without your uniform." Lieutenant Johnson laughed. "That happens a lot, and I'm glad you're trying to find a home for the sweet cat. Good luck." "Thanks," said the girls. They hurried on their way. They went to the library and put a poster on the bulletin board. They put a poster up on the community board outside the grocery store, too, and at the park. They posted some posters around the school, attaching several to the fence with tape. Then they were out of posters, out of tape, and totally out of time. From far away came a low grumble of thunder. A cold drop of rain splashed down on Amelia Bedelia's nose. "Let's go home," said Joy. "I hope the posters work." "I hope your phone rings soon," said Penny. "Cross your fingers." Amelia crossed her fingers and waved goodbye to her friends and before racing home herself. Chapter 8. By the time Amelia Bedelia got home, her hair was dripping, her shirt was soggy, and her shoes were squelching. "Look what the cat's drags in," said her father when she opened the front door. "What?" Amelia Bedelia looked around. Did the cat get out? Did she bring something back inside to play with? "I meant you," said her father. "But the cat didn't drag me in," said Amelia Bedelia. I ran home." "I can see that, and you got soaking wet," said her father. "Go change into dry clothes." Amelia Bedelia ran upstairs. She found Finally and the cat curled up together on her bed. Finally was snoring, and the cat was purring. They were nearly as loud as the storm outside. "Hello, Finally. Hello, cat," she said. Amelia Bedelia dried her hair, put on some dry clothes, and tossed her wet things into the hamper. She settled into bed and waited for the phone to ring. Surely someone would see one of the posters soon and call her. Surely someone would want to adopt such a sweet and friendly cat. As she waited, Amelia Bedelia scratched Finally's with one hand and the cat with the other. She wished she could keep the cat. She was so cute and soft. It wasn't nice to keep thinking of the cat as simply the cat, though. She needed a name. Her orange and black fur made Amelia Bedelia think of Halloween, and the way the cat was curled up just on top with the tip of her tail sticking out, reminded Amelia Bedelia of a pumpkin with a stem. That's it! Pumpkin! It was the perfect name. Hello, finally. Hello, Pumpkin, she said. Now all Pumpkin needed was a perfect home. But it seemed as if a home was going to be harder to find than a name, because the phone did not ring all afternoon. And it didn't ring during dinner. It didn't ring when Amelia Bedelia was doing her homework. It didn't ring before bedtime. 2 days at 5 were gone, and Pumpkin still did not have a home. And that is where we're going to end for today. The book. Do you guys think that the cat's going to be able to find a home? Do you guys think Amelia Bedelia will be able to keep the cat? Or do you think they'll run into Lieutenant Johnson again? Either way, I'm sure there's going to be some more idioms tomorrow, so come. Bye, guys.